Sahih al-Bukhari 64. Book 3, Hadith 6. Narrated Abdullah bin Abbas. Once Allah's Messenger gave a letter to a person and ordered him to go and deliver it to the governor of Bahrain. He did so, and the governor of Bahrain sent it to Chusros, who read that letter and then tore it to pieces. The sub-narrator, Ibn Shihab, thinks that Ibn al-Musayyib said that Allah's Messenger invoked Allah against them, saying, "May Allah tear them into pieces, and disperse them all totally." Sahih al-Bukhari 65. Book 3, Hadith 7. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Once the Prophet wrote a letter or had an idea of writing a letter. The Prophet was told that they rulers would not read letters unless they were sealed. So the Prophet got a silver ring made with Muhammad Allah's Messenger engraved on it. As if I were just observing its white glitter in the hand of the Prophet. Sahih al-Bukhari 66. 3, Hadith 8. Narrated Abu Waqid al-Laythi. While Allah's Messenger was sitting in the mosque with some people, 3 men came. 2 of them came in front of Allah's Messenger, and the third one went away. The 2 persons kept on standing before Allah's Messenger for a while, and then one of them found a place in the circle and sat there while the other sat behind the gathering, and the third one went away. When Allah's Messenger finished his preaching, he said, "Shall I tell you about these 3 persons? One of them betook himself to Allah, so Allah took him into his grace and mercy and accommodated him. The second felt shy from Allah, so Allah sheltered him in his mercy, and did not punish him, while the third turned his face from Allah and went away, so Allah turned his face from him likewise." As it is indicating in our daily and real life, we see many people who are on the path for Allah, and they are either guided towards Him by Allah's grace and knowledge, or they turn away, so Allah turns away from them. It shows that a person must take the first step and show his loyalty towards Allah Almighty, and always rely on Allah Almighty on everything. First kind of person is the one who gave himself to Allah Almighty, so He made a place for him and his loved ones and gave him a place, while the second felt a bit shy. Yes, many of us are like the second one. Allah although gave him a place and good rewards, but they might not be as good as the first ones, but still he made an effort and Allah loved him for it, and still this person is dear to Allah Almighty. We must always be outspoken about the truth and share any knowledge we get, as we will be judged on it on the last day, and it will help us in life and in afterlife. Even if we feel shy, we should try our best to be outspoken, as it will be helpful for us. While for the third one, he wasn't banished until he thought of this to himself, and once he took the step back, he was as if he wasn't even there at any time. It shows that whatever we do, we should never stop relying on Allah Almighty, and we should always walk/run towards Him with all our might, as He will make paths easier for us and it will be good for us. For it might not seem that way, but on the long run, when we look back, we will always thank Allah Almighty no matter what happens, so we can try our best selves to thank our Lord, the one who is merciful and most gracious and always giving to everybody. What we can do in our lives is that make a habit for every small thing we get or not get, we should thank Allah by saying Alhamdulillah, and it will help us a lot, as in the good times it will be showing that we always thank our Allah Almighty, for He is the one who can only provide for what we ask, and in the time when we don't get a thing, it will show that we truly rely on Allah Almighty, for what decision He has made is better for us, for we don't know what might have happened, when and if we would have gotten it. Instead of saying a curse word which would be asked about in the end, and we would wish if we could stop ourselves from saying that word or cursing anything. When we give ourselves to Allah Almighty completely and utterly, it is then and only then we would feel relaxed, and we would feel a heavy weight being lifted above us, and we will feel lighter. For what may come, we will always rely on the one who is the who created everything. So the main moral here is never lose hope in Allah Almighty and always rely on Him, for He is the only provider of anything and everything we can think of and not think of. Fi aman Allah.